I spent billions to turn my girlfriend into a movie star. At the awards show, she went on stage and declared she was dating the hot actor Alex. But I'm not Alex. My name's Leo. All my buddies in the entertainment scene hit me up, and we all agreed to straight up blacklist this shameless pair. When Mia showed up at the Golden Rose Awards, I had just wrapped a dinner with some top directors. During the meal, I locked in contracts for big blockbuster movies from each of them, one major project each. The lead actress in every movie was Mia. This year's Golden Rose Award winner? Yeah, that's her. Mia on TV. Mia in a white gown, confidently walking to the stage. Everyone knows. 3 years back, I was just a regular student at film school. Now winning the Golden Rose, I've got a ton of people to thank. Mia became the campus beauty the minute she walked into the academy, and I was her total simp boyfriend. On the surface, I was just a regular guy with some cash, looking after her and quietly supporting her as her boyfriend at school. But actually, I put billions into her career, even leveraging my family's connections to get her places in the industry. On TV, Mia paused, her face lit up with a bright smile. First, I want to thank director Jake. He wrote the script for Big Winds and Waves just for me. Jake's my best mate. The camera zoomed back to Mia as she smiled and took the mic again. There's another person I must thank, and that's my boyfriend. I was grinning like a fool watching TV. I'm now announcing my relationship with Alex. But the next second, Mia looked at the audience with love. Alex and I have been together for 2 years. He's helped me sharpen my acting skills. Many nights we've stayed up rehearsing. I love him, just like I love the stars in the sky. The crowd went wild with applause, but I was shaking with rage. I'm not Alex. My name's Leo. At the same time, messages from the directors started flooding in. Director Lou, is the investment in the major productions still on? I replied uniformly. A man's word is his bond. Of course it still stands. But I immediately added, however, the female lead has to be changed. At the awards ceremony, Mia dragged Alex on stage to flaunt their relationship. My blood boiled, and I called Mia, wanting some answers. Her voicemail said her phone was off. I was blocked. Then Mia's agent, Emma, hit me up on WeChat. Mr. Lou, Mia's decided to break up with you. She's now a top movie queen, and you're not good enough for her. We're offering you $200K as compensation, but you'll need to sign an NDA first. Attached was the NDA document, $200K. I looked at the message and couldn't help but laugh through my tears. After all the billions I poured into Mia's career, they really think her ability to say lines like 1, 2, 3, 4 inches made her a movie queen? Think the judges are blind? Seeing no response from me, Emma sent another message. Mia's now with Mr. Tom, so don't even try to cling to her. It's impossible. If you're smart, sign the agreement and we can add a few more grand. But if not, don't blame us for blacklisting you and making it impossible for you to find work. Mr. Lou, the job market isn't great. You wouldn't want to graduate and be unemployed, right? I lost interest in replying to Emma and turned off the TV. Meanwhile, Mia and Alex were already kissing on stage. Spotlights everywhere, cameras flashing nonstop. Jake suddenly stormed the stage and shoved Alex aside. Director! Mia was confused, but Jake slapped her across the face. Mia stood there stunned. Jake left with one comment. You don't deserve to be in my film. The venue exploded again. Mia's public love confession was already headline news, but Jake's slap caused a huge stir. The Golden Rose Awards, Best Director slaps the new movie queen, instant enemies. Tomorrow's headlines were set. I watched the scene at the awards and let out a long sigh of relief. Jake, you really are my brother. Nice work. The next day, Jake showed up at my place with a bottle of booze. Bro, sorry about my film. His face was red, clearly having not slept all night. Big Winds and Waves was Jake's masterpiece, the one he had poured his heart into for artistic perfection. When he found out I, a rich heir, had fallen for Mia, he got inspired and decided to use me as the model for his story. In his mind, Big Winds and Waves was a wedding gift to me. Now that gift's tainted, and it hurt him. I looked at his exhausted face and felt like comforting him. Don't worry, bro. We own the film rights. I'll get it taken down. Later, I'll fund you to shoot it again. This lit up Jake's eyes. He grabbed my hand, saying sincerely, "What's the budget? No limit. You can shoot however you want. You could even film on the moon," I joked. "Then I'll have to add some big scenes." Jake quickly shifted into creative mode, thinking about the remake. He looked up at me and asked, "Who's the female lead for the new version?" Hearing that, my smile froze. "Yeah, who would be the female lead?" My heart ached. For the past 3 years, I'd been just a humble simp for Mia, the campus beauty. She didn't like me being close to other girls, so I cut them off. Now, I couldn't think of a suitable female lead at all. Jake realized he misspoke and was about to explain when I grabbed the bottle from his hand and poured us both 2 glasses. "Today we're just drinking. No other talk," I said, downing my glass in one go. Seeing this, Jake did the same. Bang, bang. The door was knocked. I opened it to find Mia standing there with the NDA in her hand. She wrinkled her nose at the smell of booze on me and gave a disdainful look. "You're ignoring Emma's messages and hiding at home drinking?" She slammed the contract into my chest, snapping, "Pathetic. Breaking up with you was the best decision I ever made." "Why are you here?" I frowned, no longer feeling the warmth I once had. The awards ceremony shattered my illusions of Mia, and I decided never to reconcile. Mia and I were just strangers now. "I'll leave as soon as you sign the contract," Mia said coldly, her beautiful eyes now filled with icy indifference. "I'm not going to talk about us. It's embarrassing," I said, tossing the contract on the ground. Mia, hearing my words, suddenly exploded, pointing at me and shouting, "Embarrassing, Leo! Did you drink your brain away? What's my status? I'm a rising movie queen. And you, a jobless bum who hasn't even found work yet. You must sign this contract today. Emma said you'd probably use my name to scam others, maybe even sell it for a high price. I can't afford to be humiliated like that." Mia became more agitated, kicking the contract back at me. I was stunned. I never expected that my once gentle and elegant campus beauty would show such a vulgar side. What an eye-opener. And she said I'd sell it. I'm the eldest son of the Liu family. Who could afford such a price? Are you going to sign or not? Mia's voice grew more urgent as she pulled out a wad of 100 yuan bills from her pocket and slapped them against my face. "If you sign, you get money. If you don't blame me for having someone chop off your hand. I'm a big shot in the entertainment industry now. You can't mess with me." I let the money fly around, then sneered as I picked up the contract from the ground. Mia stood a meter away, arms crossed, with a smug look as if to say, "You know what's good for you?" In the next moment, I ripped the contract to pieces and threw them back in her face. "Get lost," I said calmly. Mia looked at me in disbelief, her eyes filling with tears. She rushed at me, pushing me hard. I only staggered a bit, but didn't budge. Seeing this, Mia grabbed a nearby vase and, without thinking, smashed it toward my head. Smack! A hand appeared from behind me. Jake had heard the commotion and rushed in. After hitting her, he turned to me and said, "Bro, I know you never hit women, but I'm not so forgiving, to be honest. I held back at the ceremony yesterday. Now I feel much better." I looked at Mia lying on the ground, then at the shattered vase, and shrugged indifferently. "I feel better too." "Director Chen, did you hit me again?" Mia was on the ground, covering her face, staring at Jake in shock, her voice trembling. Jake had been her benefactor. After all, it was his movie that had won her the award. Even though she had been slapped publicly yesterday, she didn't dare speak ill of Jake to the media afterward. She could only vaguely suggest there might be a misunderstanding between her and Director Chen. "Yesterday's slap was because I regretted the movie I directed," Jake said, his anger still simmering. "Today's slap was for my bro." Mia looked at Jake, then at me, her eyes filled with doubt. At that moment, Alex appeared in the distance. He rushed over, first helping Mia to her feet, then glaring at Jake and me with hatred, shouting, "Director Chen, you just directed a movie for Mia. What gives you the right to bully her?" Jake responded with a strange expression. "She attacked first. I was just acting in self-defense," he said. A smile crept onto my face as I added, "I can testify." Jake was indeed defending himself. Alex, hearing this, immediately stood up, clenching his fists. Then he looked at Jake, who was tall and broad-shouldered, clearly not a match. Next, he glanced at me. I've been working out for years, and though I had a drink today, it was just one glass. Alex unclenched his fists, muttering angrily, I'll call the police. I have friends at the station. You just wait. Jake and I exchanged a glance, noticing the amused smiles on each other's faces. Call the police. Did we break any laws? Not at all. Alex has friends at the police station. Who doesn't? Mia said. We won't be taking any more of Director Chen's films. Anyway, you have an invitation from Director Lee for his new project, Alex said, helping Mia up. He gave me a sideways glance and added smugly, he just won Best Director, but can he compare with Director Lee? Once you take Director Lee's film, you'll become even more famous. Director Chen might even beg you to play the lead one day. Mia regained her composure, her face returning to its usual arrogance. She walked up to me and sneered, Leo, I don't know how you managed to get in touch with Director Chen, but if you think that'll make me come back to you, I can only say, you're too naive. I didn't respond. Mia then turned to Jake, picked up the broken vase shards from the ground, and cut a piece off her dress, saying, Director Chen, you were the one who discovered me, but after repeatedly humiliating me, I'll never take another one of your films from this day forward. Jake burst out laughing like a pig. That's a relief. After Mia and Alex stormed off in anger, Jake casually asked, Bro, did you invest in Director Lee's film? Yeah. I nodded calmly. Director Lee had been at my dinner party last night. It's my contract. Before I could finish, I glanced toward the Lamborghini in the distance. Mia was sitting on Alex's lap, crying uncontrollably. I said leisurely, but I had Director Lee replace the lead actress. If she even gets a supporting role, it'll be my loss. Jake laughed heartily again, convinced I was truly over her. He returned to the room and refilled our glasses. Cheers. Jake and I drank in one go. Sometime later, our school held a graduation party. I didn't really want to attend, but Jake was about to start shooting a new film and needed a young intellectual female lead. He asked me to help him find someone. The Film Academy is hailed as the cradle of the country's entertainment industry, and while there were plenty of beauties, finding someone who embodied both youth and intellect was no easy task. At the party, Mia suddenly appeared, dressed in the same white gown she had worn at the awards ceremony, entering like a star surrounded by adoring fans. Compliments poured in from everyone around her, things like the youngest movie queen in history, the pride of the Film Academy, and the most beautiful campus beauty were tossed out by my classmates one after another. Mia saw me but chose to ignore me. When someone asked her about me, she casually replied, Don't get it twisted, we've never dated. I felt disgusted and was about to leave when someone tapped my shoulder. Boss, finally, I found you. Do you still want the song I wrote? I turned around and saw it was Juliet. During our year at film school, Mia was crowned the school beauty, and honestly, with her looks, no one else stood a chance of taking that title while she was around. Juliet was an exception. She was just as beautiful as Mia, but unlike Mia, who was determined to conquer the film industry, Juliet set her sights on music. She composed and performed her own songs, and thanks to her talent, for a while, she was also referred to as a school beauty. But later, with my efforts, Mia soared to fame, and no one mentioned Juliet as the school beauty anymore. Juliet had joined the school after Mia and I started dating, so we weren't very close. However, some time ago, when I was preparing my proposal, I paid a hefty sum to buy a song from her. No need. I won't be using that song anymore. You can sing it yourself. I'll still pay you. So no need to refund me. I waved her off. But the more I looked at Juliet, the more I realized she could be perfect, youthful, yet intellectual. She was the ideal candidate for Jake's new film. I know you wouldn't want the original song. I've rewritten it, Juliet said mysteriously, pulling out a piece of paper covered in lyrics. Boss, take a look. Since you paid a lot for it, at least give it a listen. I picked up the lyrics, and after reading them, even I couldn't stop my eyes from getting misty. The lyrics were about me, The me who once loved passionately. I saw my once obsessed self in the lyrics, and for a moment I felt lost. 3 years have passed. Looks like I've moved on, but how could it be that easy? I can accept Mia falling for someone else, but I can't accept that my deep affection was misplaced. I was only enduring, pretending. Juliet didn't disturb me. Instead, she turned around, sat at the piano, and slowly began to play. The melodic song filled the entire party, and the surrounding conversations gradually quieted down. Eventually, everyone fell silent, listening intently. Heaven grows old if it has feelings, only wishing that people and heaven grow old together. When the song ended, there was a moment of deathly silence before thunderous applause erupted. Everyone looked at Juliet with new admiration. After tonight, this song would surely be a hit. It was just too beautiful. When the applause subsided, Juliet lifted her chin and gave me a slight nod, as if to say, "Boss, was the money well spent?" Across the crowd, I smiled and gave her a thumbs up, meaning, very worth it. Our interaction at the party caused quite a stir. People glanced at me, then at Mia, who looked visibly uncomfortable, and began whispering to each other. "Junior, don't be fooled by him. He's about to graduate and he hasn't even found a job yet." Mia took a deep breath and, in a condescending tone, said, "I was blind to be friends with him for a few years." "Just friends." Juliet blinked innocently for a few years. "Just friends." Juliet blinked innocently. "Not even friends, just acquaintances at best." Mia, thinking of her current status, changed her tune. "Is that so?" Juliet looked at Mia with pity and in a light-hearted tone said, "But Senior is quite wealthy." "He ordered this song from me for 10 million. What? 10 million? Mia was stunned. Even as a movie queen, her acting skills weren't great, so her paycheck wasn't high. 10 million would take her half a year of hard work on set, and he spent 10 million just to buy a song. Mia turned to look at me and, suddenly thinking of something, shook her head in disdain. "Impossible. Where would he get 10 million? Junior, you've probably been deceived." "But the 10 million is an advance payment," Juliet tried to continue, but Mia cut her off directly. "Enough. I've known him for so long. An acquaintance. Do you really think I don't know him? His dad came to school in rags. Could his family really be super rich? At best, they've got a little bit of money." After she finished speaking, she glanced maliciously at Juliet. "I get it. You're just someone he hired to put on a show, aren't you? Tell him this for me. If you don't have money, don't try to act rich." At that, Juliet fell silent, glancing at me and pouting. I miraculously understood what she meant. Something along the lines of, "Why did you pick someone like her?" I shrugged, then pointed at my eyes and shook my head, as if to say, "I don't know, maybe I was blind back then." Juliet and I continued interacting as if no one else was there, which only disgusted Mia further. She stepped in front of me, mocking, "You're just a poor loser trying to put on airs." I was at a loss for words. Bypassing her, I approached Juliet and asked, "Juliet, my bro Jake has a movie, and I think you'd be perfect for the lead role. How about we step outside to discuss it?" "You're still lying," Mia followed me, interrupting again. "You're barely acquainted with director Chen. What makes you think you can choose the lead actress for his film? Besides, Juliet is from the music department. She's never studied acting. How could she possibly be an actress?" I glanced helplessly at Mia. Why couldn't I shake her off? How annoying. Just then a voice came from outside. "Director Lee has arrived at the party. Everyone, let's go greet him." Hearing that Director Lee had arrived, Mia didn't waste any more time. She lifted her skirt and hurried out. Finally, some peace and quiet, Juliet and I exchanged smiles. "Juliet, I'm serious about the lead role. Please consider it," I said sincerely. But Juliet smiled and shook her head, a mischievous glint in her eyes. "No need to think about it. I've already agreed to star in Jake's film." "Jake," I was stunned for a moment before realizing. "You two conspired to trick me." "Who told you to stay cooped up at home all the time?" Juliet playfully patted my shoulder. "Jake asked me to help you get back on your feet. Feeling better now?" I heard this and smiled bitterly, nodding. I had let go of my feelings for Mia, but I hadn't been able to let go of the version of myself who had been deeply in love for 3 years. In other words, I hadn't found my heart again. It wasn't until after hearing Juliet's performance that I truly let go. If the heavens have feelings, they too will grow old. All I wish is for people to grow old together. A great man cannot stay oppressed for long. Only through self-reliance can one endure. Thank you, I said sincerely. As Juliet and I continued chatting, the room grew noisy again. Mia re-entered, accompanied by Director Lee. Director Lee, I've accepted the invitation for your new movie. When will the crew be assembled? I'd like to plan my schedule in advance, Mia said with a big smile. Upon hearing this, the surrounding students were astonished. No wonder she had become a rising film queen so quickly. She had already been cast in Director Lee's new film. Director Lee was one of the top directors in the country, and many film students had enrolled specifically because of his reputation. You could say Director Lee is a pillar of the film industry. We'll discuss it later, Director Lee replied calmly. When he walked in and saw me, his eyes lit up and his steps quickened. He walked straight toward me, warmly grabbing my hand and saying, Chairman Liu, long time no see. Have you decided on the lead actress for my new film? The female lead. I started to get a headache. Recently, these directors had been pushing me repeatedly to finalize the lead actress. There was no way around it. The female lead was a crucial character in the script. Without her, they couldn't start filming. They had no choice but to wait for me to decide. After all, I was the investor. But where could I find so many female leads for them? Mia stood nearby, watching as Director Lee grabbed my hand. Her face filled with shock. Director Liu, Storm, you're that mysterious investor. Director Liu, I continued, there are many Director Lius, but the one investing in the entertainment industry and staying so mysterious is probably me. I came clean. Mia stood frozen in place. Every film she had participated in had my investment. She had once tried to inquire about Director Liu, but no one knew who he was. At first, Mia had suspected me, but after seeing my father come to visit me at school in plain, worn clothes, she dismissed the thought. How is that possible? Your dad came to school in nothing but ragged clothes. How could you be Director Liu? Mia rushed over, desperately trying to grab my sleeve, but I avoided her with a cold expression. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. These young people nowadays can't even recognize Mr. Martin Liu and look down on plain clothes. Those are traditional Chinese garments. Director Lee sighed and shook his head. Mia shuddered at the mention of Martin's name. My father was a renowned patriotic entrepreneur, the founder of Washia Microelectronics Group, who built an empire from the ground up and became a giant in the tech industry, famous nationwide. Martin is your father, Liu. Mia covered her mouth, finally waking up from her dream. Only now did she realize what she had missed, but I felt relieved. It was good that she missed it. Otherwise, it would have been a disgrace to my family. With that thought, I nodded slightly and admitted, Indeed, my father is Martin. After a brief pause, I calmly looked at Mia. And yes, he's the man you called poorly dressed. Mia looked at me in despair, tears welling up in her eyes. I ignored her. Meanwhile, Director Lee was anxiously telling me that his new film was about to start filming, and I had to quickly decide on the lead actress. Frustrated, I grabbed Juliet, who was standing nearby, watching the scene unfold. Director Lee, how about her? The idea hit me suddenly. This young lady. Director Lee looked Juliet up and down, first nodding in satisfaction, then hesitating. I'm just not sure about her acting skills. How about this? Young lady, show me a happy expression. Juliet pulled a long face. Perfect. The female lead in the film is supposed to be quirky like that. This is interesting. Director Lee nodded in satisfaction again. This counts as passing. Juliet was surprised, then caught on after seeing the expression on Director Lee's face. So, no matter if I cry or smile, I'd pass. Right. Smart and quick-witted, just like the female lead in the film. Director Lee laughed heartily and patted me on the shoulder. Director Liu is the investor, so it's up to him to decide the female lead. Juliet tried to run, but I grabbed her. You're already in Jake's film. How could you pass up the opportunity to work with director Lee? I said seriously, I have faith in you. You'll be a star in both the film and music industry. Juliet was swayed by my words. Actually, my schedule is pretty empty, and I've been honing my acting skills for a while. I'd love to join the crew, even if I'm not the lead. I'll take a supporting role. Mia approached, looking at me pitifully. Leo, for the sake of these past 3 years, I interrupted her immediately. Don't bring up those 3 years. I consider them a waste on a dog. After that, I walked out with director Lee and Juliet, leaving one last sentence before closing the door. Forget being the lead. You're not even fit to be an extra. After the entertainment gala, the song Love, composed by Juliet, became a viral hit online, and everyone witnessed her talent. A rare genius in the music world, that was the public's take on her. While fans eagerly anticipated Juliet releasing an album, I arranged for her to be cast as the lead actress, not in one, but in many films. I handed her all the contracts. When directors asked if the female lead had been decided, I told them directly, yes, it's Juliet. She's a film student, 1 year below me, and she's my junior. As for whether those directors could secure a schedule, sorry, I'm just the investor. I don't handle that. Money? There's plenty of it. Casting her. You'll have to sort out the scheduling yourself, bro. You're ruthless. When I visited Jake on set, he pointed at Juliet, who was getting her makeup touched up, and smiled wryly. I have to fight for her schedule now. I couldn't help but laugh. Seeing the bittersweet look on Juliet's face, I burst out, "That's what she gets for conspiring with you to trick me into going to the gala." "Bro, don't hold a grudge. Let me tell you something." Jake pulled me aside. "I've spoken with people in the industry, and we've decided to blacklist those two scumbags." "Blacklist," I muttered the word, waving my hand disinterestedly. "Do as you like. I don't have any feelings left for her." After that, Mia never appeared on screen again. It wasn't just her, Alex too. The once rising movie queen and the popular star vanished entirely from the public eye, and no one in the entertainment industry offered them any roles. Later, Mia came to me hoping I'd give her a break. I didn't even open the door. Soon after, the Golden Rose Awards quietly removed Mia's award record, and the world forgot about her. But soon, rumors began spreading online, accusing me of being a heartless rich kid. The Post claimed that I bullied men and women alike in college, committed countless misdeeds, and even forced myself on Mia. It said I was the one behind her blacklist. I read the entire post and could only sum it up with one word: nonsense. It's easy to spread rumors, but hard to dispel them. The post quickly climbed to the top of trending searches, and my identity as the eldest son of the Liu family was fully exposed to the public. "Son, did you get yourself into trouble?" my father called, not to scold me, but simply out of concern. "Yeah, I misjudged someone," I admitted without hesitation. My father told me to handle it myself, so I asked him a question over the phone. "Dad, is our family's money clean?" On the other end, I heard my father's hearty laugh. "I can't speak for others, but our family's money is absolutely spotless." Reassured, I immediately called for Tom, the butler's son. "Investigate. I want to know who dares to slander me." Tom quickly found out who posted the message, and to my surprise, it wasn't Mia. It was Alex. To be precise, Alex had first tried to provoke Mia into doing it, but when that failed, he concocted the story himself. Later, he asked Mia for some details, which is how the post went viral online. Thinking about it, it makes sense. Mia may be foolish, but not so foolish as to claim that I bullied men and women during our university days. There were plenty of people in our year. Everyone saw what happened, and fairness is in the heart of the people. Keep investigating. I don't believe someone like Alex is clean. Dig up his dirt, I ordered again. Tom was already prepared, producing a thick stack of materials. I glanced through it and was stunned. The documents showed that Alex had been involved in the abduction of young girls. This was a clear violation of criminal law. "Hand the materials over to the authorities," I said, with one sentence sealing Alex's fate. 3 months later, Alex was sentenced to 13 years in prison. When I received the news, I merely said, "He brought it on himself." Then I began dealing with the rumors about me. In fact, there wasn't much to handle. The reporters did a round through the film industry, and the rumors collapsed on their own. How could people have not noticed what I was like at school? At some point, a few pages of my chat history with Mia had even been leaked. Sweet, mushy words were exposed. You know why I feel sleepy every time I see you? Other, why? Because you're so sweet, it makes me want to sleep. Do you smell something? Other, no. What smell? It's the smell of my love for you. Do you know the difference between you and the stars? Other, what difference? The stars are in the sky, and you are in my heart. The entire internet was in shock. The esteemed eldest son of the Liu family had actually been a simp. When Juliet saw these chat logs, she burst into laughter on the spot. I felt both angry and embarrassed, my toes curling inward uncontrollably. After all, everyone does foolish things in their youth. As more of my information was exposed, people discovered that although I came from a wealthy family, I had always been an exemplary student, truly a gifted child from a small town. I had donated to many charitable causes, and thanks to my contributions, many children in remote villages were able to attend school and change their lives. Some even revealed that the song Love was based on me. From then on, all the rumors about me completely died down. After I took over my family's company, Jake came to see me and showed me a video. In the video, Mia was scantily dressed, starring in a pornographic film. Before this film was released, Jake had managed to have it blocked. Otherwise, it would have caused yet another scandal if it had hit the market. I finished watching with a gloomy expression, put down my phone, and glanced at him. Didn't you say you were going to blacklist her? Does a pornographic film count? Jake looked conflicted. Isn't a pornographic film still a movie? I said seriously. Jake hesitated. So should I have it rejected? I nodded. After Jake left, I thought about it and sent him a message. There's nothing wrong with rejecting the pornographic film, but forget about blacklisting her. Let the market decide. Jake replied with a salute emoji. Later, Mia made a comeback, but her acting remained stiff, and the market didn't accept her. Gradually, she disappeared from the public eye. Occasionally, I heard others mention that she might have found someone to marry. I didn't care and wasn't interested. Juliet, on the other hand, has now become a top-tier star in both the film and music industries, insanely popular. Thankfully, the business my grandfather left me was solid enough, and I protected her well, keeping the filth of the entertainment world from tainting her. Jake seemed to have noticed something and subtly hinted to me multiple times that my grandfather had asked him to find me a wife. I told him I hadn't met the right person yet, which made Jake anxious enough to slap his thigh in frustration several times. Juliet suddenly came to me, saying she wanted to drop her upcoming projects and take a few months off to rest on an island. I nodded in agreement. She definitely needed a break. 3 months later, Jake sent me a movie for review. When I saw the title, I couldn't forget it for a long time. Big Winds and Waves. It was the movie Mia had won an award for years ago. Jake had always talked about remaking it, but I hadn't heard any updates, and now, out of nowhere, he surprised me. That day, I took a break, turned on my computer, and watched the new art film. Juliet's face appeared on the screen, making me feel disoriented for a moment. As the movie progressed, I realized that in this version, the protagonist was no longer based on me. It was a girl, like a breeze passing over water, causing ripples to form. At the end of the movie, the filming date appeared. It wasn't this year. It was from before the original awards ceremony. Looking at this date, I hurriedly found the old version online and discovered that in an inconspicuous corner, Juliet had always been present. Perhaps as a passerby, maybe in the background of a library, or in a long shot where I waited outside the girls' dormitory. She had always been there. I turned off the computer, smoked many cigarettes, and listened to Love on repeat for a long time. Let the past stay in the past, I muttered, extinguishing my cigarette. If the heavens have emotions, even they would grow old. May people grow old together with the sky. As I pondered the lyrics, the more meaningful they seemed, like a love letter hidden in the passage of time, finally delivered to me after so many years. Thankfully, it's not too late. I picked up my phone and sent Juliet a message. Have you rested enough? You stingy capitalist still trying to exploit me. Juliet replied with a voice message, as lively and mischievous as always. I chuckled and responded, what I mean is you might need more rest. How much longer can I rest? About 90 days. The law states that maternity leave is just that long. There was no reply for a long time, and I began to feel a bit anxious. After who knows how long, my phone screen finally lit up again with just one line, if you give it, I'll take it. I laughed heartily, grabbed my coat, and embarked on my journey to East Sea. The island is in East Sea.